Hey, welcome to Let's Grow Together with Kalyan, Shruti and Richa. ये पॉडकास्ट सीरीज बनाया ही गया है टू लर्न फ्रॉम द इंडस्ट्री एक्सपर्ट्स. ये ट्विटर स्पेस सीरीज को पॉडकास्ट में कन्वर्ट किया गया है सो एवरीथिंग इज रॉ एंड अनफिल्टर्ड. You will hear the audience asking questions to the guest as well. कि ये podcast series is going to be super insightful. So come with an open mind and I promise you बहुत कुछ सीखने मिलेगा. So let's start the podcast in 3, 2, 1.
First, I would like to introduce DJ Sir. So, he is a career marketeer who have been around for nearly 3 decades with stints at Ananda, Bazar Patrika, Coca Cola, and Group M, and many more. When I had a conversation with him, I realized that DJ Sir is somebody who is so much experienced. Like the people around we have on social media, he's one of those the most experienced person around us from whom we can learn a lot. He was also involved with setting up the WPP School of Communication in Mumbai and a blockchain powered world cinema marketplace startup. Isn't that a lot? Along with that, he described himself as someone who is an eternal optimist and love landing ideas. And I myself have learned a lot. Like I got to learn few ideas from him. And he is currently involved with building an interesting startup which is totally focused on movie buffs. The name is Frenzi, and it is a streaming guide that helps us simplify what to watch. Because, deciding what to watch is one of the most difficult thing to do, just like deciding what to eat whenever we are like opening our apps to like Zomato, Swiggy or something. The same thing is movies, but for like eating we have a solution, but for movies DJ sir is like coming up with a resolution, like solution for all of us, and that solution is Frenzy. Along with that, I would like to ask my amazing co-host Kalyan, how is he doing today? And hi Kalyan, how are you?
I'm good यार. I'm a little I don't know कुछ तो चल रहा है but then yeah, the day is going good.
Look
थोड़ा
like
थोड़ा.
you are occupied with like few things.
Yeah, not occupied but थोड़ा सा कुछ there is something going on but yeah, I'm very excited about the space. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing. What about you, Shruti? How is your day going so far?
Yeah, it's going good. It's going fine. Like I had few calls today and it do happens every day, but I do get like at times I just try to keep it as less as possible, because what happens by the end of the day I'm all drained. So whenever like we have spaces, I just try to keep less calls on that day, because like during the spaces we have to talk for almost an hour, and especially like we don't have our like second co-host with us today, Richa. She's traveling, so definitely I am missing her. Kalyan is missing her, I know. We don't have her Richa with us, but okay. I hope she's enjoying the trip she's on. So
Yeah.
DJ
And
sir.
श्रुति do we do, मतलब इसका मतलब ये है कि जिस दिन स्पेसेस होते हैं आप उस दिन कम पैसे कमाते हो. Is it true?
नहीं, फिर मैं जिस दिन स्पेसेस नहीं होती उस दिन आई बैलेंस इट आउट.
Oh wow. Okay. And Shruti is also trading right now, so that explains this, right? How's your trading going on?
It is going great. Like I'm learning stuff, I'm learning things. I started 2 years back, but I think trading is something which is a like ongoing journey of learning and experimentation only. And आप कभी भी अपने आप को ऐसे नहीं बोल सकते when you are into trading, like stock market trading की like I am somebody who is an expert or I have learned a lot, like no matter how many years it's been. मेरा तो अभी कुछ मतलब मैंने तो स्टार्ट ही किया है, बट मैं ऐसे ही इन जनरल बोल रही हूँ, क्योंकि हमेशा इतनी सारी नई चीज़ें आती रहती हैं एवरी डे. लाइक लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स आर हैपनिंग इन द मार्केट, इकोनॉमी में इतने सारे चेंजेस, सो एवरी डे यू कीप लर्निंग समथिंग न्यू, एंड इट इज़ डेफिनेटली फिनोमिनल प्रोसेस. बट या like ठीक है, every day I learn something new from that. I don't trade on every day. Today was market was closed because of the holiday, but whenever I do, I just do it. So,
That is great. And आज का space तो बड़ा interesting होने वाला है because we're going to talk about movies. And everybody,
yeah.
I can see the audience very excited about this space because हम TV shows की बात करेंगे, movies की बात करेंगे, and everybody is welcome to come up and give their suggestions. It will be amazing space. It's a space जहाँ पे हम सब बात करेंगे, एक दूसरे को suggest करेंगे चीजें. So that's gonna happen. Yeah, Shruti, take over.
Definitely, we
Yeah.
are going to have like amazing conversation, and I would love to have like all the people who have joined us today. First of all, thank you everyone, and do stick with us till the end. I would love to have you all in our conversation during the space. Like, do share your point of view, the movies, the TV shows, series, whatever you are enjoying or watching. I would be more than happy to like get some recommendations from you, me and Kalyan both. So, thank you so much for joining. Also, Kalyan, shall we start now?
Yeah, sure. I'll take the first question,
Yeah.
and the first question that we have for DJ sir is, so how does movie impact our understanding of world and ourselves? So it's a very deep question if you think about it. DJ sir, would you like to answer this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, let me start by saying thank you, everyone, whoever has made it. And like Shruti said, please do stick around till the end. I can see a lot of familiar faces, so means a lot that you've taken out time to be here. Kalyan, coming to your question, it's almost feeling like I am in a Viva answering like uh, a paper. First, before I really start a caveat here, I am not really a cinephile. I've been just very deeply fascinated with the medium, uh, not really all my life, but probably for the last 3 to 4 years, a lot more. Especially because I managed to come across one because of the World Cinema Startup on one side, and separately, with as you meet people, as you see their passion for cinema, you start to kind of get so much closer to the medium, and it's really fascinating. It just kind of sucks you in. Okay, it's just brilliant. So that's more of a caveat. Like I said, I am talking purely from a lot of thoughts that I've picked up, a lot of wonderful people I've been able to meet who have really fired up this interest in me. Kalyan, coming to your question, personally, I think probably the biggest boon that we've had from the 21st, from the 20th century, not the 21st century, the 20th century, probably the biggest boon we've had is actually cinema. So, while we'll come back, we'll think about the wars and all of that stuff that kind of, made our century so much to talk about. But this is a medium which kind of really has taken things to a completely new level. I find it extremely fascinating that just think about it. The power of the medium is so much that we, as a bunch of strangers, get into a dark room and completely transport ourselves into a story. And as a part of that, all of us reflects on that story, all of us pick up different things, and all of us walk away with very different things from that film. So, as a medium, okay, it just ends up being so powerful. So, is it something that is kind of driving us? I think there's absolutely no doubts about it. It's probably the largest interest area in the world. Okay, just think about it. I think the one thing that we all come back and do, like Shruti said a little earlier, okay, we will all come back, we will talk about films because there is somewhere a connection that happens when we get into films. uh, we pick up a lot of understanding about ourselves, we pick up a lot of understanding about the world. I personally end up joining so many dots. It's the biggest fuel that is driving my life, at least.
That is amazing. And so basically, if there are people from Bombay, then they will know कि there is a place called Nita Ambani का जो Nita Mukesh Ambani Cultural Center, which is recently built. And now if you go there, you will see a lot of plays happening. So Broadway has come there, and वहाँ पे Broadway plays and everything is happening. इंडिया इवन दो हम लोग ने प्लेस बहुत देखा है, ड्रामा बहुत देखा है थिएटर में. However, this is a foreign concept that is coming in. Of course, it's a different package altogether, but the altogether, if you think about it, it's just the storytelling which has changed over the time. So movies are a better version of plays that are happening. It's more the storytelling has got better and everything. uh, DJ sir, what is your take on this? Like, uh, is there anything better coming up when it comes to storytelling? Like अभी movies हम देख रहे हैं, even though we were watching it on theaters, do you think there can be better way of storytelling these? Do you get these 3D wala thing and 5D wala thing
Personally,
if something is coming up? Yeah.
Karan, if I just take a step back, no, I think, and right reference that you picked up, okay, I think Broadway was probably the precursor to, what was cinema or commercial cinema in a really big way, if you see. So, plays have been around for such a long time. The thing with plays was you felt the play, the energy, everything that was happening live in front of you, and it was such a phenomenal experience. And then being able to take that and can it for the world to go back and experience it for years and centuries afterwards, I think is what really is, like I said, the magic of cinema. And per se, when I look at it, like I said, I don't know about the tech part of it, but this is the way I see it. I think storytelling probably is that one thing that unifies all of us around the world. And as the story by itself and the narrative, the power of the storytelling, the sheer what do I call it? The sheer passion of the storyteller, I think, is what really drives this medium. I'm not really a very big fan of the additional text and the 4D and 5D and other things that are coming with it. But I also sense that as technology is becoming stronger and stronger, as 5G is becoming so much a part of our lives, probably we're going to start seeing storytelling in probably more different ways. Black Mirror to me was a very, very interesting example of how storytelling could start to evolve into the future. On one side, where you would be part of the story per se. Would stories come back and start to have an element of mixed reality? Probably, I think they would. But in my mind, while these things will take the medium forward, I think the storytelling aspect of it, okay, is really with the with the person telling the story. And I think the directors, the way they're looking at it, the kind of stories that we are picking up, the kind of stories that are now finding traction, the kind of stories that we are finding around the world, stories that people feel so strongly need to be told. Like there's a a recent example that's coming to my mind. I don't know how many of you have seen Scoop, but I think it was just such a phenomenal story, and it felt so close to your heart because you had seen a lot of this happen in the newspaper, and then suddenly you saw it coming alive, and you could attach a whole human layer to the whole thing. It was the whole story was so much about these characters, and none of them were really perfect, if you see, but how we take our imperfections through life and how what we are doing, okay, and how life kind of tends to shape us. I think that I'm seeing more and more of that hopefully happening on the storytelling piece. On the tech piece, I think it is going to be interesting, but I think it'll not be the tech, but it'll really be the narrative which is going to drive this medium, because now it is fairly almost global.
Hmm. And I couldn't agree enough with what you said initially. DJ said about movies, and it is undeniably a powerful medium with like amazing influence around for all of us. Coming back to the question, what Kalan asked you, I would like to ask a follow-up question on your response. So, regarding the movies, that how it has affected you and shaped your life in like personally.
Okay. So like I said a little earlier, I think I'm a professional couch potato. Okay. Genuinely professional couch potato. I think, one of the things that we have on Frenzy, which, helped me document all the films that I've seen over a lifetime. And as of this point of time, I think probably I've seen over 3,000 films. Okay. I have ended up creating a log of close to 1,400 of them at this point of time. So I know right from my, I was very lucky to have grown up in the Doordarshan area where you had nothing else for entertainment, and you had these amazing stories and amazing films which would be on Doordarshan every weekend. So I guess a lot of it started from there, and then you kept finding better stories. And then, as usual, you went to college and you bunked college. And I think I spent more time in the theater than probably in college. A lot of that, I think, shaped me as a person a lot. It shaped me. It helped me kind of build my moral compass a little, my value systems a little. It helped me more than anything else understand emotion. I don't think I would have understood emotion and human beings as well if it was not for the movies that I've seen. It's not for the discussions I've had. I don't think I would have kind of been in the advertising space afterwards in life. So I think it just fired up my imagination a little early in life. As a person, I generally really thrive on joining the dots. So, movies become like the perfect vessel for me because, I'm there and you're watching it, and then you are invariably leaving the theater either with more questions or with some answers. And then there are movies that you go back and see. So, this continuous process of joining the dots was really shaped for me through films more than anything else. And it just pushed me to kind of understand and decode people better, which has been the one thing that's kind of taken me through my entire career afterwards.
Hmm. And adding to that, like, could you suggest some movies that have enhanced your understanding of life, like which can help us as well?
Uh,
Shruti, I think your voice is breaking. Is it just me, or you say you?
I think I heard the question. You want me to just talk about a couple of films that did shape my life, right? Was that the question, Shruti?
Yes, yes, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm, okay, I think that'll be like this. In fact, one of the first movies I remember from my childhood is a film called Shakti. This was, so two films that I is so distinctly remember watching these two films. Okay, one of these films was a movie called Shakti, which had Dilip Kumar and Amitabh Bachchan, and it was this amazing film. Okay, commercial pot boiler masala film, but the moral dilemma that came out of that film, okay, of between an upright police officer and his son who kind of starts to live his life in the little of the gray areas of life, kind of thing, uh, because he feels that his father let him down when he was kidnapped as a child. I think that film just kind of set me thinking, and it's one of those films that I still go back and watch a few times just to kind of go back in time. There's another film which was a film called Naya Daur, which had this very interesting story about a race between a tanga and a bus. The whole thing of technology, and this is after India had just got independence. So again, that whole thing of belief and what you would do, and it was just one of those films just stuck in your head somehow. So I think it kind of started off from there, and from there on, as like a big Amitabh Bachchan fan, so you just went and saw like these whole lot of his films afterwards. And as I grew older, I think another film that really worked for me in a very, very different way in terms of understanding emotions and kind of humanized, not just humanized it, made me feel very connected because I could see myself a lot in there, was a film called Chashme Badur, which was Sai Paranjpe's film, with three boys in a Barsati, and they are all trying to put off Dipti Nawal. Very, very interesting film. It was just this amazing slice of understanding humans, and you could just relate to it so beautifully. Uh, from there on, if I think about it, I think films that have really shaped my life from there on. Godfather is one film that really is very, very close to my heart. Uh, I had read the book way earlier in life. So when I was in, between school and college, I had read the book already. And then when I finally got to see the film, it just left this it was this huge, profound impact on me because I started to come back, and for me, it was this realization about how you create your own rules in life. And from there on, I think it's just also influenced a lot of the films that I've started to see afterwards, because it's very, very interesting when we all live our lives by rules that are either created for us, okay, or rules that we kind of are born into, or rules that we decide that we have to follow because people tell us we have to follow it. But the moral compass that comes out of these rules and the strengths that we build out of it, it really comes together when you are able to come back and see when, if you don't have rules, in that kind of a life, the way you make rules. So Godfather and its underlying attachment on family values. This line in the movie which keeps coming back again and saying it's nothing personal, strictly business. Those lines are lines that have probably started off before my generation, and it's lines that you all are still using in your generation, and that's how profound that film has been. I think from there on, it just kind of kept going on and on and on. If I have to think of other films during my college days and later that really left a very large impact on me, one of them was Satya, Goodwill Hunting, Fight Club, Rang De Basanti, okay, in a very, very different way. And then one of my all-time favorites, a film called Terminal. I think I'll keep coming back during this conversation to talk about Terminal a couple of times. It's just one of those films that's so close to my heart.
That is amazing. And to be honest, जब आपने शक्ति बोला ना, तो मुझे वो शाहरुख खान वाली शक्ति याद आई. I don't know. I just remember that. And there's a very famous song जिसमें ऐश्वर्या राय and Shah Rukh Khan are dancing to it. I'm sure everybody can recall it.
नहीं,
अगर कोई
ये
सर्च
वाली
करेगा
शक्ति
तो.
है ना, उसके पहले
I
वाली
was like,
शक्ति है पर
ये
कल्याण, ये वाले
अच्छा अच्छा, मैं वही
हाँ,
सोचूं कि इतना अच्छा मूवी था तो मुझे सिर्फ गाना क्यों
नहीं,
याद
ये
है.
वाली शक्ति है
But
दिलीप कुमार, इट हैड दिलीप कुमार, अमिताभ बच्चन. Okay, it's like I said, it's an amazing film. I'm sure it would be on a platform somewhere. Head to Frenzy, find it. But a very interesting film about
sure.
uh, the child getting kidnapped and overhearing a conversation. The Dilip Kumar is a police commissioner or something like that, and he's kidnapped and he overhears a conversation between the kidnappers and his father, where the father, as the police commissioner, okay, is telling them saying कि तुम्हें जो करना है कर लो, okay, पर मैं I will not give in to your demands. And the boy suddenly feels abandoned, okay, and ends up running away from there. Okay, he ends up escaping himself. But that fact that I was let down by my father is what shapes his entire life afterwards. You know, it's just such a beautiful story of how incidents shape our life. And like I said, the moral dichotomy here. Okay, it's just amazingly.
Lovely, lovely. We have the Shepherd with us. Yeah, go ahead, Shepherd. What is your real name, by the way?
Yeah, I'll like prefer for Shepherd only for now. But yeah.
Okay, okay,
Hi
go ahead.
Kalyan, hi Shruti, hi DJ, and hello to
Hey,
everyone.
hi Shepard.
Yeah, hi. So actually, I just intended to listen initially, but I like the topic and something struck with me, so I just wanted to come up and share. So
Please,
one
please.
thing you all were talking about, the impact movies made. So what what I thought about at that time is that we all read the books that we have to read in school time for our studies, but I try to read novels, but it never, like, that activity never grew on me. But it so happened that where I used to live, there at that time, a cinema hall which used to display Hindi movies, it suddenly started to, it like ownership changed and it started to display Hollywood movies. Now, like, this was like, I think in India the movie started to come around 1999 or something, and 3 years prior to that, this cinema hall somehow managed to start showing. So I had seen like Matrix, Twister, and all those movies in cinema hall. Like, I was small, like, but I went alone and saw those movies. And the amazing thing about those movies was that um, two things I remember. One is like I could never read a book and get that kind of imagination which was being shown in the movies. And the second thing which I immediately noticed is that unlike Hindi movies, where they would show everything, like for example, they say something and then they will like explain it to the end. The movie Hollywood people do not actually go in detail. They leave some things out for the audience to figure out. If the audience understands it, good. Otherwise, they leave it. I'll give a small example. There is a movie called The Accountant. I remember this particularly because like it was quite funny. So in The Accountant, Ben Affleck is there, who is like a kind of assassin who has a particular kind of an autism, which makes him like very smart and like, but also has other issues. He has a brother, right? So there's always like somebody managing him. Like on a phone call, he would get that some threat is coming towards your way. Manage this, manage that, and everything. So we had taken a friend of ours who was not big on English movies. So he was like, मुझे नहीं यार समझ में आती, like English movies ना, मुझे English का इतना वो है, तो like please don't take me. But we forced him to like come with us. So in the end, what happened was the entire movie was going on. We were like, यार, so like we all were seeing like like कि कोई manage करता है इसको call पर and बताता है everything and everything. तो छोटे होते एक सीन दिखाया होता है कि उसको एक ऑटिस्टिक होम लेकर गए होते हैं, वहाँ पर उसको मतलब प्लेस करने की कोशिश करी होती है, वहाँ पर उसे एक छोटी सी बच्ची मिली होती है. तो उसके बाद से फिर वो एक्शन स्टार्ट होता है. इन द एंड दे शो कि भाई लाइक वो वापस किसी घर में जाता है, वहाँ पे एक लेडी बैठी होती है कंप्यूटर पे एंड एवरीथिंग, ये वो करके वो, बट वो इस तरीके से दिखा रहे होते हैं, उन्होंने कुछ नहीं किया होता है. एंड सडनली आवर फ्रेंड जम्प्ड कि यार यही है जो उसको मैनेज करती है, लाइक ये इसी की कॉल आती है. एंड शी वाज लाइक, उसका ऑटिज्म डिफरेंट टाइप का था, बट शी कुड मैनेज उसको. उसने कंप्यूटर वगैरह उसने दिया होता है, बेन एफ्लेक वगैरह ने. And we had like we who were used to see all these like Hollywood movies, हमने pick नहीं किया, वो हमारे friend ने pick कर लिया. So like that was one thing, and the movie didn't show. जिसको समझ में आ गया, नहीं आया तो ना सही. That's how they go about it. सो वो चीज़ मुझे एक थोड़ी अच्छी लगती है इवन इन द बॉर्न आइडेंटिटी सॉरी ये जो जेसन बॉर्न सीरीज है इसके अंदर भी ऐसा ही है कि इफ यू पिक थिंग्स अप इट्स गुड इफ यू डोंट पिक अप देन इफ यू आर लाइक डिस्ट्रैक्टेड तो आप मिस कर दोगे सो दैट कीप्स यू लाइक हुक्ड अप so that is one thing I like about these movies
So,
that they have a different way of telling the story.
so in fact, Shepard, if I can add to what you were saying, no, I think a lot of these movies and why they continue to fascinate me is I think one of the earliest movies that I remember, which was probably about autism. Again, like I said, I'm not the expert in a lot of this right now, but was a movie called Rain Man. Okay, Dustin Hoffman and Tom Cruise. Accountant is a film also that I've seen. I think our ability now, your generation's ability to work with people who are differently abled, because invariably people who are differently abled, okay, also tend to have like a very different superpower. I mean, like in this film that they're shown about Ben Affleck and how he comes back. I still remember he sets up that whole room, okay, this, and sets it up, and his ability to read through data, check it out, make patterns, whatever it is, because his mind works in a certain way. I think our ability to be able to work with people with different abilities, special abilities, heightened abilities is probably going to be a lot more because we are now familiar with people like this. It just makes it so much easier for us. And I think that's the reason I just love movies, because in every movie there's something that I kind of, find which invariably adds a little more fuel to the optimism that I have about life.
Okay, and can I just want to add to this? So, as Shepard just explained now, the Hollywood movies are more subtle and they do not show a lot of emotions. So I think I watched someone's interview. I think it was Manoj Vajpayee who was talking, and he was saying that there are two ways of doing the same scene, which is um, शोइंग अ इमोशनल सीन. तो उस इमोशनल सीन में देर आर टू वेज ऑफ शोइंग द सीन. तो एक में तो एक्टर खुद रो लेगा, और द सेकेंड सीन इज जहाँ पे वो नहीं रोएगा, ही विल कीप ऑल द इमोशंस देयर, एंड देन द ऑडियंस विल फील दैट इमोशन एंड दे विल क्राई. सो द फर्स्ट वन इज मोर सेटिस्फाइंग फॉर अ एक्टर टू शो कि वो रो दिया तो उसको ऐसा लगा कि यस आई हैव डन जस्टिस टू दिस रोल. However, the second one is a difficult one where that person has to keep every emotion to himself. If you remember, Gangs of Wasseypur में नवाजुद्दीन सिद्दीकी वाला जो scene था where he's sitting in the theater and he's not crying but he's so full of emotions. So people cry to that scene, and also the Swadesh वाला scene जहाँ पे शाहरुख खान receives that जो train में बैठा है and the little boy comes to him and give him a cup of water, the glass of water. So all those things. So this is what the difference is. In India, people do relate to things that are very simply told. बहुत कम ऐसा होता है कि वो लोग ऐसी मूवीज को रिलेट कर पाते जिसमें इमोशंस भरे हुए हों. That is why Tamasha as a movie didn't do well in the box office, but it was well received by the audience. Yeah, that's my take. Let's go to Sagar first. Yeah, Sagar. Yeah.
Hey Shruti, Kalyan, DJ, hello everyone.
Hey, hi.
Firstly, thank you so much for having me here. I think it's just wonderful. Apart from everything, it's just wonderful to listen to somebody who's an enthusiast talk about, that's something that they love. So, DJ, lovely to listen to you.
Thank you, Sagar.
I have a very relevant question, and I really wanted to sort of put that question out to you. If, again, I have the permission of the hosts,
And
Shruti and
and,
Kalyan.
and Sagar, yeah, first,
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
and Sagar, hopefully I have the answer also.
Oh, I think this might be a question which could be a difficult one for you.
Please,
So,
please.
I have this question where, since you've mentioned that you've been watching a lot of movies, and now over these years, it has conditioned your brain to evaluate every movie, right? Now, whenever you watch, let's say, a different movie altogether, you look for something that one piece or one particular thing from a movie that you can take back from. Now the question to you is, how do you stop your brain to evaluate the movie, how good the movie is, or can you detach yourself from the expectation of taking something from the movie and particularly enjoy that movie? I believe this was one of the videos that I think Sushant Singh Rajput was speaking about these movie critics when they're watching a movie and they're penning things down. So that's where the question arises from, and I would love to know how what do you think about the same?
So Sagar, like I said, I don't think I'm evolved enough to be a critic, to be very honest. Okay, like I said, just a really big enthusiast. Uh, what happens with me, I tell you, is there are some movies that I get, okay, and there are some movies that get to me. The other movies generally, okay, are like movies that I've seen, but I really like they stay in my mind. But I generally tend to focus on these movies that get to me more than anything else. And invariably, what happens is a movie gets to me, I tend to go back to see the film. Always, I tend to go back to see the film. I look for people who have also seen the film and try and see what is it that they picked out of it that is there. So somewhere for me, the joining of dots is like a continuous process that happens from there. So invariably, I don't go into a film with any expectation because I am genuinely there to come back and see. Like I said, there is a master storyteller, there's a director, okay, who's put together a story. And if you really come back and understand the amount of effort that goes into putting together a film, okay, just the sheer joy of it is immense. So one of the things that I've also realized has helped me immensely is something that I picked up from, I honestly don't remember whom, but they told me that one of the first things that film students are taught is, that when you go and see a film, okay, you wait there till the credits are over. And that, trust me, is such an humbling experience, no? Okay, a lot of what you're doing, okay, it just brings you closer to the film. When you just wait and watch the credits and you see the scores of people involved in making that thing happen and coming alive in front of you in those 3 hours. So I don't know if I've directly answered your question or no, but that to me is the way it has always worked. So there are films which I'll go back and I just want to come back and understand a little more. Every time I go back to see a film, I don't know, I think it happens naturally to us. You tend to see it the second time from a different perspective because you now absorb the story, and then you find it easier to get into, the characters, the layers, what is happening, why it's happening, so on and so forth. So it just helps you join the dots somewhere.
I,
Amazing. I'm learning a lot about movies. Yeah, Sagar,
no,
please
I was
go
just
ahead.
wanting to show gratitude to him, making an attempt to answer that question. I think it's incredible to get an answer which was so candid in a way. And again, I look forward to hearing the conversation. Thank you.
Thanks, Sagar.
Thank you, Sagar, for asking. Okay, so I would like to ask you something, DJ sir. Like, what kind of movies would be your go-to choice and why? But then I see Mr. Shepherd have his hand raised, and Gungun is also there. Hi, Gungun. So, DJ sir, once you answer this, after that we will go to Shepherd and then to Gungun.
Okay. So my go-to choices generally are films where there are relationships involved. I somehow seem to have like the soft corner for films which have war as a backdrop because the whole emotional side of things I think come across so starkly against the backdrop of the war generally. About violence, war, stuff like that. So that's one set of films which I then just seem to be automatically drawn to. I love films which are based on books. I love films which are based on real life. I love documentaries. Okay, I know I may be just like complete minority out here, but I just love documentaries. It helps me understand and decode things around me. It just satisfies my curiosity. It fuels my curiosity, satisfies my curiosity. So that's the kind of films that I automatically gravitate to. The other thing, which is again a matter of great curiosity for me, is I generally try to go back and there are some people who I know have great taste in films and who are really passionate about films. So, films that they recommend, I try and watch them and then go and talk to them to really understand, why they thought that film was so great. In a similar space, I try to go back and see the films that have got nominated or have won the Oscar because it's just this curiosity saying the best filmmakers in the world have sat in a room and arrived at this as being the best film in the world. Okay, and why would that be? So that kind of curiosity drives it for me. So that's my general go-to repertoire. And otherwise, it is also FOMO drives a lot of it also. So that also works.
And you are not alone. Like, I also love documentaries. So, yeah, Shepherd, please ask your question or anything if you would like to add to the conversation.
Okay. I think I missed the initial part, but I'll just say this. I, I'll just say this. I guess the person who is into movies, it depends what their individual nature is. The person who is taking away from what they're taking away from the movie depends upon their individual nature. So, someone who is into observing people, they would want movies which have a certain depth to it, and doesn't mean they cannot enjoy the movies at other times. um, there's a like movie called Basic. I think John Travolta's movie is there. Samuel L. Jackson is there. Basic. If you see it the first time, you probably don't get. There are so many tracks going on, and the storyline is like haphazard. So you have to see it more than once to understand what's really going on, and they don't explain it. It's like and like that is what I like about those movies. Like they don't explain things. And if you like if you are into like movies, you tend to pick up genres which are not you don't get to experience in your daily life. For example, I wouldn't want to be near a psychopath in my like real life. Also, I whatever is shown in the movie, I wouldn't take it to be true, but something would intrigue me. So something like Raman Raghav, I believe it was the name of that movie. So like Nawazuddin Siddiqui was this psychopath, and what was fascinating was the end, that he is like not having any kind of consideration for human being, but in the end he just wants somebody else to be like him. So he finds that I think Vicky Kaushal is someone who is a police officer, um, but he is also similar to him in terms of personality. He's a psychopath who has managed to blend into the society. And what happens is Vicky Kaushal has accidentally killed his girlfriend, I believe, and then Nawazuddin Siddiqui, um, who was under arrest.
Stafford, just you're giving all spoilers. So,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
if you could
And
just wind
yeah.
up
So
quickly, huh?
basically, what I
Yeah,
want to
that
say is
would be
that
nice.
sometimes you want to experience something which you possibly cannot, like war, as DJ was saying. So sometimes you go to movies for that. So I'll stop here. Like I'll let other people continue. Thanks.
Sure. See, why I'm telling you that the whole point of this space is people pick some movies and they go and they watch it. So that's the point of it, right? Every movie that we are speaking of are movies that are really, really well made. So that's the point. I think Gungun wants to add something. Hi, Gungun. How are you?
Hi Kalyan here. Hi Shruti. Hi DJ
Hi,
sir.
Gungun.
Yeah, it's lovely listening to you again, DJ sir. Thank you so much. And I just have one question. Do you watch horror movies? And what is your take on horror movies? Or do they really fascinates you or not?
Okay, so honestly, if there's one genre which I don't, actively go and watch, okay, it is horror. I just somehow, I love the psychological thriller kind of film. Okay, I mean the Hitchcock kind of films, I would love, but the idea of dead men walking around and zombies and stuff like that somehow has never fascinated me. Having said that, I think uh, the few horror movies that I've watched, I've just found the most, for probably everyone out here, weird takeaways, okay, that is there. So I still remember, this is one of the films that I discussed very actively in class, in my teaching days. I went and saw this film called World War Z, okay, which was about the zombies had taken over the world, and Israel was the only country that had survived the zombies. And the protagonist, I still don't even remember who that was, okay, actually ends up going to Israel and stuff like that. That was the story. The only thing,
I think it was Brad Pitt, right?
possible. I think it is Brad Pitt. The only thing that fascinated me about the film, okay, was there's this whole conversation there where the guy talks about how in Israel they, this team which was, governing the country or whatever it is, okay, they have this rule where they have a team of 8 people, while 7 people are working to make something happen. The eighth person, okay, is supposed to sit down and think about what if it doesn't work out, then what should we do? And in this case, in this film, they end up making like this huge wall that is there, which is what ends up saving them from the zombies. I think that to me, the fascinating part was this entire idea of having one person in the team, okay, thinking about the completely opposite of what could happen, okay, and actually thinking it through and making a plan on it. That was the thing that stuck in my head, not the zombies, not the rest of it. So, like I said, so when I do end up seeing a horror film, it is, I don't end up getting caught up in the horror and gore of it. Okay, I think I just get more caught up to see why, what happened, where it led to it, stuff like that. It's just very weird. But that's a genre I genuinely will not pay and watch. Okay, and if I have a choice, I will not watch.
Okay. Yeah. So let's go to Abhay. Yeah, Abhay, how are you?
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are. Go ahead.
Yes. Uh, I am also I am also very disinterested in horror, so that's a very commonality. But I want to ask the question that when you watch like very uh, like high amount of movies in a very short period of time, like in lockdown, I consumed like 50 movies in 2 months or 3 months. Then at a certain point, you start like getting bored of the it might happen that a average movie might seem very interesting to you and a very very what we can say a brilliant movie like first time I watched the disciple, I thought it was a boring movie. So how can you judge a movie in like if you are watching too many of them? I just want to ask the question.
Uh, okay. First, let me just, since you mentioned this, now this just kind of struck me, so let me just put that on the table. I think the best time and a lot of my interest in movies and especially the trying to break it down, okay, and trying to understand where the director was coming from, where the scriptwriter was coming from, what was the story they were trying to convey, kind of conversations and thoughts really happened during the lockdown for me, a lot of them, because I also ended up meeting a lot of people online, and we were all stuck at home, so it really helped at that point of time. I ended up seeing probably close to 200 films, okay, in the lockdown, literally. At home we had made a rule where every night at 9 o'clock we would sit and watch a film together, all of us, my family. But coming back to your question, I don't watch too many films together, so I kind of watch a film and I need to allow that film to sink in to me. And if that film kind of stays on my mind the next day, then I know there is something in that film which is drawing me back to that film, and I'll go back and watch it again probably or pick up a discussion around it. The rest of it I generally just kind of move on from there, saying okay, this film was probably I was not the core audience for it. But what interests me separately is the fact that I think in every film there's a connection that is there. In most films that connection ends up being unintended actually. So, just to give you an example of that, I will not be able to substantiate this, but the missus and some of the people out here know it. Okay, my wife is a psychotherapist, so she had done this very interesting analysis breaking down Hera Fairy to explain the concept of ego and superego. Now, that's the kind of thing which completely fascinates me. I keep telling her that I don't think when they made the film or when they wrote the film, okay, that this is, the conscious thought on which that film was built. It is just that looking at the film, that's the thought that she could glean out of it. And that kind of stuff really gives me satisfaction more than anything else. So I don't think it's really about the quantity per se, because I agree with you. I think after a point of time, it does get tiring. Uh, you know,
Got it. So, I have one question, and we'll go to Surbhi after that. The one question that I have is related to Tamasha, the movie. We spoke about this. So, I remember watching Tamasha, which is an Imtiaz Ali masterpiece, for the first time, and I hated it. But then I resaw it and I fell in love with it and understood its true meaning. So, what do you think has changed? And is it the, I would not call it suffering, but then is it the suffering or the pain that was there in my life that time of that phase of my time made me love and respect the main character of the movie? Would you say that? And also, follow up question would be: do you watch a movie pretending to be the lead character of the movie for an ultimate experience?
okay, let me answer the second question first. Generally as a rule, and luckily I've been able to kind of make this happen for myself. When I go to see the film the first time, okay, I generally have like a fly in the wall attitude. Okay, I want to be there, not involved, and but completely just experience the story for what it is. Then I think about the characters that stick in my head the next time I'm watching the film. But it is not like I have the lead character or someone else. Invariably I tend to zero in on the people who have propelled the story forward. because there's just so much attention from everyone's side on the leads that is there. You tend to kind of, gloss over the others at a lot of times, but they become so pivotal to the story, which to me is the part of the director's thought on how the story propels forward, and that's the kind of thing which catches my attention immediately. Tamasha, uh, Kalyan, I have a very interesting take on Tamasha, and this is my personal individual take. Okay, so let me start from there. So this is the way I've kind of decoded life. I think what happens with all of us, when we start growing, we start adding worlds into our life, okay, which are very very structured. So you're at home, that's your world, and then from there on, okay, you're moved out into another world, which is the school, which has got its own set of rules. And then you have the playground, okay, where collectively a set of rules happen. So your personality kind of keeps building as you go through these different worlds that is there, and a lot of that tends to influence or make what you are. This is true for all of us. I think the process of growing up somewhere, what it does is where we come back and realize that we are trying to go out. This happens to all of us in the 20s, where we try to go out and try to find our place in the real world, and that can be quite pressurizing somewhere. So, and while we are trying to find that our place in the real world, we try and ultimately in life, okay, are able to bring these worlds that are close to our heart into that real world and make them coexist along with that real world. To me, the whole story of Tamasha unfolded literally like that. So for from the guy who was completely absorbed, used to love stories. You remember there's this storyteller who's there, okay, who keeps confusing and who keeps telling them different stories, all in different order, also, and stuff like that. And from there, this entire childlike thing in the holiday, okay, which is so childlike, to coming back and trying so hard to find your place in the real world. I think as you get closer to this world and as you try very hard to come back and realize that, listen, there are no separate worlds. There is one real world, and within that real world, you have to come back and find yourself and your world, kind of thing. I think the point of time when that realization starts hitting you is the point of time you start feeling the film that much more. I'm not really getting into whatever mental state Ranbir Kapoor was in and stuff like that. Personally, okay, I thought that the film somehow seemed to be a lot of effort put in by Deepika Padukone. Okay, while this part of it kind of came out. So to me, that was the way Tamasha was, but it was like this great mirror on how we all grow up finally in the end. And I think Imtiaz Ali is a great filmmaker, and the style with which the film has been, you know, put out, the style of the film is something that I'll kind of, remember forever. So when you say it's a masterpiece on that part of it, I completely kind of, agree. But like I said, this to me was what it is. This whole thing of we start to realize it that this is about how we are going to find our place in the real world without losing ourselves and what we stand for in the end.
Amazing. Survi, you have raised your hand. Would you like to ask something?
Yeah, Shruti. Hi, Shruti. Hi, Kalandya. Hi,
Hi.
Deepak. Yeah. Okay. So did I have two questions? Like, that one thing that you mentioned, every time we watch a movie, we have a different perspective. Like, single movie many times. So, like, there is this movie, The Pursuit of Happiness. तो लाइक फॉर द अगर हम उसे फर्स्ट टाइम करते हैं तो फॉर द वेरी फर्स्ट टाइम इट शोज द हाउ द स्ट्रगल वेंट ऑफ एंड हाउ विल स्मिथ work his way up to get to the top of the things and to get out of the poverty and everything. But that film also shows the relationship between the father and the son. They both of them hold, like the whole movie revolves around of them अगर हम दूसरे perspective से बात करते हैं
Right.
तो uh, like what's your take on to which extent films and the movies are idolizing the platonic relationships in real world, like platonic or the parental relationships in real world, to which extent?
I
Like when we talk about love relationships, definitely they are idolizing it to a next level extent, but what about the platonic ones?
uh, I think there's a lot of movies that are doing that. If I just take your example only, so be your pursuit of happiness. To me, the strength of his relationship with his son. is what is the real fuel and the driver, okay, of his perseverance, okay, and trying to go out there, okay, and make it in life and get out of poverty, if you see. So that's the way the film hit me, not the other way around, okay, per se. So I thought that his bond with his son and that need to, for his son and himself by extension, okay, to be able to get out of poverty is what kind of brings out the best in the guy in the end. I mean, that's the way the film hit me at least. Uh, I think in a lot of films, probably what you're saying probably more true for maybe a lot of mainstream Indian cinema, but I think the quality and the nature of effort that is going in to come back and delve into some of the other relationships in the past, at least in my generation, okay, the friendship relationship that was there uh, was the one that seemed to have a lot of focus. uh, a brother sister relationship in some case was some that had a lot of focus. But I think the way stories are happening right now, there is genuinely an attempt. Okay, is it good enough? Okay, probably a lot more can happen, but that is what I mean by the quality of storytelling that is happening right now is just so amazing. It's just so amazing. So if I just take an example for you right now, if you've seen Scoop, the Hansel Mehta,
The
Hansel Mehta series that is there, right?
yeah, yeah,
If you
yeah.
just see whatever Karishma Tanna's character, okay, her entire family, if you see, okay, they are
Hmm.
so beautifully integrated into the story, okay, that at a point of you are able to come back and also understand, feel, and see the angst of the people who feel powerless, okay, knowing that their daughter is in prison and wrongly implicated and are not able to do anything about it. Okay, one uncle who's trying to come back and hold up and try to kind of hold the family together. Okay, the child, okay, who kind of picks up this whole thing in a completely different way. So it may be like a side story which is happening, but I think the amount of focus that has gone into that side story is probably the reason I'm remembering it right now more than anything else. So
Very
I
true.
do think it is there. I just think that depending on the lens, I also think sometimes that depending on the life stage at which you are, there are some things that hit you first and some things that hit you later. So for me, a lot of the films that I watched, the entire, the mentoring, the uh, imperfections of life, okay, those things hit me a lot more because I am, like I said, Jurassic Park. So
True that. Also, I have the second question. There is this series on Netflix, Kaleidoscope. The main idea of the series is that you can watch any episode in any order. So, but what goes into like creating this kind of content for a huge massive public where the user base is so large and the perspective can differ from individual to individual. But when you create something, so you need a base idea to go ahead. So, what goes in creating this kind of content for platform like Netflix or any platform which is this huge with this much of user base?
So Subi, one, I don't think I am qualified to answer what goes into it, okay. But I think if I hazard a guess, okay, and this is genuinely my take on it, and again, like I said, caveat, this is my personal take on it. I think when you are a platform like Netflix, you have the sheer advantage of knowing the pulse of probably the whole world at any point of time. You know what kind of stories are catching what kind of fancy with people. Like I know horror as a genre has been kind of growing, okay, per se. So because you are able to look at understanding what is happening, in terms of what is the kind of content hooks and what is the kind of stories which are getting traction, it becomes extremely rich fodder for the creators to be able to create a story. And in the end of it, like I said, no, as much as we are different, okay, like I said, I think the one thing that holds us all together is stories and emotions. Okay, maybe the color of it is different. Okay, maybe the way it comes across is a little different. The way it is projected is a little different. But it is the same emotions that hold all of us together, if you see, as a species somewhere. So somewhere, for example, Squid Games work for me. Kaleidoscope is on my list, and it is on my list purely for that one thing, which was the hook of saying you can watch the serial from anywhere and the story will still make sense to you. Kinds, it's not like you have to go from A to Z. You can start halfway and it will still make sense. Or, you know, From what I understood, you come back and you choose which character you want to start the story, and then the entire story anyway comes together. So I think it's very interesting, very deft storytelling on one side. But using the same example, like I said, I think for a lot of, I don't know about the others, but Squid Games worked for me without knowing the language. In a completely different way, Narcos worked for me without knowing the language. One of my all-time favorite serials in life is Fauda, Palestinian serial. Okay, so I just know that the heightened emotion or the emotion that comes across within the context of the overall story is something that we just connect to, and we all have our own version of the same emotions in the end. So I think if you are able to cut through and connect with people on that level, people do start picking it up, and that is the advantage, well, not the advantage, but that's the sheer benefit that Netflix is bringing to the table for all of us. Because the same thing 30 years back, okay, the studios in India and abroad making films did not have this advantage of knowing the pulse of the people so much.
True that. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Amazing. So, hello everyone. We have something exciting. That is Frenzy giveaway for all of you, and it is called Frenzy Guess the Title. As you can see, there is a pinned tweet above the space that we are doing right now. So, what you have to do right now is that follow the Frenzy handle and retweet the tweet which is pinned over here, and then there is this still from the movies. As you can see, you have to guess the right like answer for these movies, and then DM the same to the Frenzy handle. Whosoever will be right will be selected for the giveaway, and they'll be basically will be Frenzy will be randomly selecting the five lucky winners for the correct answer, and you will be receiving the Book My Show vouchers for the same. So good luck to everyone, and please stay tuned for announcement of the winner. Definitely will be like getting the announcement very soon. How soon we can like we will be able to know the results, DJ sir?
By latest by Tuesday. So we have the
Okay,
contest.
cool.
We end the contest tomorrow night. Okay, and therefore then the weekend kicks in, and by Tuesday we will reach out and inform the winners.
Cool, cool, cool. So we will, I think we are getting like five lucky winners from the correct answers that we will receive,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah, great. So now I would like to ask you something, DJ sir, regarding the frenzy only. You seem to have taken your love for the movies to the next level by creating this product, like your application or basically your baby frenzy. So would you like to talk about the same, and why did you choose this name, Frenzy?
Okay,
What was your
okay.
agenda? Yeah.
So let me first clarification. Okay, this basically Frenzy as a product is Bala's brainchild. I am not very sure if Bala is here on this space, but if he is, the genesis of Frenzy actually was Bala. And I ended up joining Bala's team a year after the product had started off. So Frenzy as an idea is an idea that started off with Bala in the middle of the lockdown, and he started to put the whole product together. We ended up meeting sheerly by chance in an investor call actually, and somewhere we hit it off because of this shared passion for films. And it is so interesting because Bala finds insight and interesting talking points on all popular films. My choices are a little more not so popular kind of films. That's the kind of films I tend to gravitate to, but we just hit it off. And I think the shared love for films is what started off my journey in Frenzy. And actually, a few months back, the board elevated me to co-founder. Okay, so that's how it is now a joint baby for us. It was always my baby. Okay, but it was my baby simply because like I said, over the last 2, 3 years, seeing the film space so closely and talking to people and listening to people, and you just kind of realize that man, the film fan community, okay, is such an amazing community to bring together. And like I said, there's this very, very simple business case for it because it's the largest interest area in the world. We all like to talk stories. We will get involved with stories. We'll be talking about it so much. So it just kind of came together. And like Shruti, like you rightly said, today finding the film to watch is such a challenge. To answer your other question that was there, the name Frenzy actually stands for Friends Intelligence. Okay, so the whole idea was Frenzy is a community streaming. So it's a basically it's a community streaming guide, a guide which one tells you where to watch films, what films to watch, why to watch, okay, and also how you could watch them. So all of it coming together in one place, which invariably we end up kind of trying to look around, find different places, maybe make notes, okay, so on and so forth. We just come back and simplify that entire journey for you. So that is what the genesis of Frenzy was. And in the process, we are making the community a very integral part of the whole thing. And in the process, hopefully, we will build the world's largest film community where people will connect over films that they love, where people will be able to come back and be able to talk to each other. Okay, things like that will happen down the line. But like I said, it was basically a streaming guide. So your friend's intelligence is what we are kind of collating together out here. We made this playground for people to come back and build on it, and it's been an interesting journey, a very very interesting journey till now. So beyond, like I said, you come to the Frenzy app. We simplify things for you, so you can come and at one look you will know what are the new releases that are happening across platforms. We generally ask you for two bits of information, which is the languages that you want to watch titles in, and the platforms that are your preferred platforms. Using this information and the information that you then keep adding into the platform, you start getting personalized recommendation through our AI engine. Per se, you will get to know what are new releases across platforms in one place. You can see what is trending across platforms in one place, where you can go and click and say, okay, this is on Netflix, this is on Prime, this is on, these are my five other platforms, this is what is happening. So you get to see everything together in one place. Interestingly, okay, for conversations like this, and all of us come back and we have these list of movies that we've seen or we want to see. So we have this interesting feature called a share list, where you can create a share list, you can invite your friends to join that share list and track movies together. People can come discover your share list because of a shared interest and choose to join that share list. You can add them to it. They can then suggest titles to you. So it is the community coming together to do that. The other interesting thing that we have on the app is it's a feature which is, to me, my favorite feature on the app. We have this thing called CineScore, where the users just come back and put down what films they've already watched, because they don't want to be kind of reminded about those films again. It helps us personalize choices for them. It helps the AI engine do that. But CineScore per se, okay, makes this beautiful record of your cinema behavior. So, for example, if I look at my Cine score on Frenzy, I get to know how many films I've watched, how many series I've watched, what languages I tend to gravitate towards, what kind of genres I'm gravitating towards, what kind of platforms am I gravitating towards, which actors I end up seeing a lot, which directors I end up seeing a lot. I can go back and check for more work of those same guys. I can go back and notify films that are not on OTT as and when they happen, okay, when they start on streaming for me to find it. So, like I said, this is like imagine this as your personal Jeeves when it comes to the film space, and the opportunity to meet like-minded people at the same time and build a community together. So that's been the dream. That has been what we've been going for. The product is already live. It is on the Play Store, and our website is also live. The iOS app should be happening very, very soon, but we are already out there. The community is already a little over 2 million strong. And this 2 million strong community has actually helped us fine tune this product over the last year or so. So, like I said, so Friends Intelligence at work. Do go and check it out.
Amazing, and I have already checked it out, DJ sir, and I definitely was very amazed by the website and all the like features it have. I mean, we all know how difficult it is whenever we are like looking forward to watch something, be it like with family or be it like whenever you are bored, you want to watch something and like you are just not able to come up with some names. At times, it do happen with me, at least. So for in that situation, for me, definitely Frenzy is going to be my friend, like go to platform, I would say, to watch something. And definitely the name is very cute.
I
Okay, coming to our question, I would like to ask you something like very straightforward. What are your top five TV series that you watch? on a regular basis, or something which is your favorite?
Okay, so some of them, so I have this category called the rewatchables, which is I want to go back and watch them again and again because there's like this connection that I have. It really fascinates me to go back to those stories again and again. So, including those, I think on the series front, and I just find the idea of a mini series equally interesting. It's like bigger than a film, so you're able to break down the characters much better, and so on and so forth, also. So, probably my all-time favorite would be Breaking Bad. Uh, After Breaking Bad, so one would be Breaking Bad, the other one would be Blacklist. Okay, so two series that I discovered little early in life, and they've just kind of stuck with me, and I still feel like going back and watching them again. In fact, Blacklist right now is in season 10. Uh, so, like I said, there's Breaking Bad, there is Blacklist. There was House of Cards once upon a time. Okay, I seem to have outgrown House of Cards for a bit. There's a very interesting British serial called Line of Duty. That's the third one that I have. Then Fauda, I mentioned this a little earlier, Palestinian serial, okay, which is about the Israeli Mossad and Hamas and so the whole Palestinian conflict and the underlying tension and how that geography coexists just comes out so phenomenally. It just comes out so phenomenally. Latest one that I've added to the list is Scoop. Uh, then a couple of other personal favorites. Okay, there's a serial called 24. I don't think it's on any platform right now, but 24 is again one of in my all-time favorite list. And I also love this Hindi serial called Good Luck. Okay, it's about this middle-class family, and it is so endearing and so amazing. So, so off the top of my head, those would be the few names that will come to my mind. The rest of it would be on my cine score.
Great. Like I have noted, then there are few which I haven't watched, but definitely I would like to check them out. Mayank have raised his hand. Hi, Mayank. Please.
Hi, good evening.
Hey,
Yeah. Hi. Good
hi,
evening.
man.
Yeah. Hi, Kalyan. Hi, DJ. Hi, Shruti. DJ, so two good things. One, choices of the poison we drink matches, and second is the interest of films that match. And since I'm in this business for last 7 years now, I'm on more of a business in the tech side of the cinema and the film production and everything. So I understand where you come from. But one thing I wanted to know about your product, which I've been intrigued about, is how inclusive is your data and your community building around the regional flicks? When I say regional, all these Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, how deeper are you penetrated there, and what's the community size? Because if there is a good size of users who are discussing about these films, I have some no some things in mind which I will then correct with you
Hey,
later on.
absolutely. Mayank, I would love to connect with you later on, honestly, because some part of the way we are building the product, okay, I mean, ultimately, I think my go-to partners are going to be the filmmakers, the platforms, and so on and so forth. To answer your first question, this is what we've observed at this point of time, okay, and Mayank, I'm just kind of going off the cuff at this point of time. We do have a reasonably large community which seems to be spread across the country. Clearly, Andhra, Telangana kind of, seems to be keeping on coming up. If I just look at languages that people are searching, titles that people are searching by language, and titles that people are marking as already watched or rating, okay, which to me are indicators of their level of involvement with that title per se, then invariably in my top five, okay, one or two regional languages always come up, okay, including when people put up their preferences for which languages they watch content in. So Telugu, Malayalam, and Tamil, okay, are quite up there. Bengali is the other one. Started to see some interest in Punjabi, but the amount of titles available probably is not so high with Punjabi. But it is coming up as a preferred language from a lot of people already. Marathi then is the other language that kind of floats up. When I come back and look at people writing reviews and getting involved with films per se, I think Malayalam really is up there beyond Hindi and English. In fact, between Hindi and English, English is bigger than Hindi, marginally at most times. But the minute I take out those two languages, Malayalam really floats up there, then followed by Telugu, then followed by Tamil. Bengali is the one place where people tend to be writing a lot of reviews and stuff also. So is the community building? Okay, this is where the community is. At this point of time, I think it's also a function of the number of titles that we've been able to map, which also comes in from some part of it, our backend, our engine, and whichever way it's picking up titles. So that also is in its own way started to contribute more than anything else. So at this point of time, we mapped about 750,000 titles and about 82 odd OTT platforms. So, so that content pool is quite rich in a sense.
That's perfect. I'll tell you why I asked this question, is, and sorry, I'll
Sure,
take a
sure,
couple of
sure.
minutes of yours. See, because I work with Ormax, which is primarily a post-release research organization, which is helping us, of course, with first-day box office collection at when the film
Right.
releases, but also does a lot of input in terms of ticket sale, in terms of audience footfall, in terms of measurement of the audience. Post the releases, post every month, we get another report from Ormax, and they're doing a lot of research on this cinema, which never was done earlier. So we have a lot of data which is coming core to the cinematic releases, the theatrical
Right.
releases. Now I am looking at something where I can launch it as a currency for the brands, because we reach out to the brands for brand partnerships with in film, on cinema, theaters, advertisements, and all. So I'm looking at a currency where I can tell them what's the pre-buzz for the release. For example, there's a movie like Jailer, which is coming on 11th of August. If I have a data at least 15 to 20 days ahead of the release, that what is the buzz around the film, what are the community discussions happening, what is the core, something like a Loki verse with Leo, which is coming up in September. If I have a lot of buzz and the data around that, I can build a case and start monetizing not just, of course, my assets, but the associated assets also. For example, I have a website called Movie Buff. We own a platform like Just a Kids and Ticket Please. We also own a much more bigger platforms like the theatrical releases which we do, and we monetize these assets. So there becomes an all-inclusive package for the brands to come and spread through their own assets, or or their brand advertisements on all the networks. So if that a kind of a score I have, or if there is a community discussion and some analytics you have before the release, I think we should be
No,
talking on over the call.
absolutely. Mayank, I will reach out to you separately to take this forward. See, one of the things that we are already picking up right now is where we ask people to, we say notify me, okay, when this film comes on OTT, basically, because we are largely the, OTT aggregator at this point of time. So am I picking up some amount of pre-buzz? Yes, I am picking up some amount of pre-buzz already. Can we go back and create nudges to integrate this into people's journeys? Okay. Yes, that's the reason why we are here more than anything else, because I believe that's the kind of thing that finally the community also is looking for at some point of time. So would be very happy to sit down and meet up with you separately, really come back, understand, and see what is it that we could actually come back, work out, because we want to be the community guys. Okay, I guess our scope is to simplify what to watch and to create that community, keep them talking to each other, keeping on coming up with new ideas so that we can spread those ideas to others in the community also. So,
That sounds perfect, DJ. Let's catch up sometime.
absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
That's great. And now I would do go for a one rapid fire round, okay, with you, DJ sir. So basically, what I want is three movies that you would recommend every teenager struggling with the following. Right? I'll be naming one issue or one thing that they are struggling with, and then you have to recommend three movies that they can watch and they can, understand what they're going through. Right? The first one would be communication. So, any three movies that you would recommend in order for someone to fix their communication, mostly in English? Yeah.
Okay, I wouldn't say so much in English. I think let me just come back and say, see, if it's English, I think a lot of films generally kind of help you pick it up. The first film that comes to my mind, I think it should be a textbook film for everyone. Okay, in life from a communication standpoint, is The Terminal. This thing of someone trying to pick up learning the language and living out there at the same time. It is an amazing film. So that would be one film that kind of immediately comes to mind when it comes to communication. What else? My head is veering a little towards Coda, which again is the difficulty of communication between people who are differently abled also. So those would be the two films that come to mind when it comes to communication per se. I'll have to think about a third one here. That's
Acha, have you seen The King's Speech?
Oh, that is so awesome. So similar space. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
so the King's
It
Speech.
just struck
Okay,
my mind.
and
So, yeah.
like I said, completely different space. Okay, but this is just so communication at a very evolved level. Was this film called Arrival? I don't know if it's there on a platform. I want to go check it out. But it's a film called Arrival, which is about 5 to 6 years old. It's a brilliant film. It's a brilliant film. If you can find it, please go back and watch that film. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it's on aliens, right?
Yeah, it's about trying to
Correct.
come
I've
back and
seen it.
talk to
Yes.
aliens. Okay, so it's just so beautiful.
Correct. Correct. Okay. The second point would be career. So, any three movie recommendation that you have for career?
Pursuit of Happiness.
It's a very general thing, but then
Yeah.
yeah, any
Okay. Pursuit
recommendation.
of Happiness. Somewhere. Okay. Then the other two probably may not seem so obvious, but The Intern is another film which I think you should come back and watch. The third film, which is a personal favorite, okay, is Bunty or Bubbly. To me, Bunty or Bubbly was really about the influence of an older person to hone your skills in the end. Okay, if you do not have that, okay, you just take your skills and go all over the place per se. So I have used Bunty or Bubbly as a conversation to come back and think about how you build your career, find the right mentor, find the right person to move it along with. So those would be the three that come to mind. The other one, okay, this is purely for work ethic, okay, and how you should approach your career was Erin Brockovich. Be passionate about what you do. So,
Got it. Got it. Three movie recommendations for topic love life.
okay, this one probably most of y'all may not connect with, but beautiful films. Please go back and if possible, watch them. Uh, One of them is The Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind. Okay, this is a very personal favorite again. So my all-time favorite love stories, Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind, Before Sunrise probably. You Got Mail. Okay, was my during college days. You know love life film basically, and in its own way, Jab We Met also.
Amazing. Okay, next is finding meaning. So, finding meaning in someone's life or your life. Three movies that you would recommend.
Okay, the Batman trilogy tops my list on that. Okay, which is the entire
The Christopher
the
Nolan one.
Christopher Nolan trilogy. The Batman trilogy is
Okay.
one that will top my list. Then there's a film called Pay It Forward. This amazing American film, okay, called Pay It Forward. Godfather again is a personal favorite on finding meaning. Again, like I said, this is at that lovely intersection of when you create your own rules. The meaning that you then find is just so integrated into your soul, okay, and that just comes out so beautifully, okay. Not so much Godfather 3, but Godfather 1 and 2 more than anything else. Uh, Amongst Hindi films, it would be Bhag Milka Bhag as the first one that kind of really pops into my head. And Masan would be another one. Then there was this very interesting film which was centered around the whole cooking space, Juliet and Julia. So you're really looking at kind of getting to the core of your soul. Okay, you end up doing it to things that you love. Okay, and things that shape your life in the end. So this would be it, and in probably in a very different sense would also be Masan. I mean, I found a lot of meaning in life through Masan.
Got it, got it. And I would like to add the three movies that has really helped me. The first one would be Udan, and then Imtiaz Ali's Tamasha and Rockstar. I love these movies, so yeah, that's my thing. Yeah, Shruti, go ahead.
Shruti, you're on mute.
Yeah, oh, sorry. Okay, so I would like to ask you, DJ sir, like when you have to choose between two, which is OTT platform or movie theater, which one would you go, like move ahead with?
So there are okay. So there are some films where I have to have the film experience first before I get into it more. A lot of these are my daughter's films. Okay, so typically the Marvel universe and stuff like that. I will go back and watch that on a big screen more than anything else. But films which are more about human stories and films which are older also, I prefer to watch them on OTT because one, I can watch them at my pace. I can go back and keep watching them, rewatching them again and again. So it's like a mix for me. So I start with the experience in the theater for some films, but have to follow it up on OTT if it really catches my attention. For a lot of other films, I prefer not to kind of go to the theater because I want to, like I said, I just want to do it at my pace in my way, okay, by myself. So streaming works better for me in those cases.
Understood. I would like to ask the same question to Kalyan. Kalyan, are you there?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. To be honest, something I love watching movies at my home. It gives me the sense of comfort and everything, and I can connect with the movies a lot better. However, there are some movies that really require you to be in the theater, and I have always enjoyed watching them in the theater. So, one would be. Um, I don't know why, but when the Avatar movie came in the 2009, it was a 3D movie. Now, back in those days, there were not a lot of 3D movies, so that was one of the experience. That was my first 3D movie ever, and I really, really enjoyed it. And that really happened. So that was one of the movies that I can always think of whenever it comes to watching movie. Of course, there was Avengers Endgame also, which was really, really something I was looking forward to. I saw that movie at 1 a.m. I think at night, and it was second or third day of the movie release. So had a great time. So there are movies that depends.
Mm.
Like if it is really, really the movie that you want to see, theater experience is a very different experience. But I also enjoy watching at home. So yeah. What about you, Shruti?
Yeah, same. I would choose to watch movies at home rather than going to theater.
In fact,
But like,
so Shruti, for me,
uh,
I think the filmmaker generally has made the movie okay for you to watch in that experience in the theater. So I think the first watch, if a film really, I think the first watch should be in a theater as much as possible, per se. And
hmm.
then I think you when you delve into it deeper, okay, so I think you experience it the first time, the scale of that experience and the grandeur of that experience, and I think that shared energy that comes out in the theater, that is really magical, in the end. So to me, it is like a lot of the films you start in the theater, but then you take it back home. A lot of the films, unfortunately, I can't go and watch in the theater. So one of my life ambitions is to go back and make a personal theater for myself someday. Yes.
Same, DJ sir. I have a similar ambition. The reason is so that I can sit comfortably, eat, and then watch movie. Normally, what happens is that like whenever I'm in a theater, I start feeling so cold, and I feel like I should have brought my blanket at least with me. And now I have decided that definitely I'm going to carry a blanket along with me. And another problem is that the seats are so small, and I'm somebody like who just want to sleep, or like I just can't sit as a normal लोगों की तरह मतलब I just can't ऐसे sit normally and then watch movie. I get very uncomfortable because like you have to sit for at least 2 hours. So that is one of the problem which I feel. But what happens again, I always end up watching movies in theater. Like most of the movies which I enjoy. The last one which I watched was Fast X, and I believe that was in 4D. First X was released in 4D, I guess. And I had such a pathetic experience. The reason is I was expecting कि मतलब सब कुछ अच्छा होगा वहाँ पे, but what they were doing, they were just shaking the chairs. Majority of the time, the chair was so much like they were shaking the chairs, and I had really bad experience.
Which is why,
To be very
like I said,
honest.
I think one of the points we started earlier in the conversation, I think the integration of this experience in the storytelling part, I think it still has a long way to go, and probably it's going to get there faster than slower per se. But separately, like I said, I think I had the sheer fortune, and I don't know if it's still around. I still think in some smaller cities it may still be happening. That fun of going standing in line, buying a ticket in black, being in a theater
Hmm.
where you see everyone getting up and dancing. Okay, there are people throwing money at the screen. Okay, the energy that happens from there, no, it's an experience at a different level. It just makes you love the medium that much more. I don't know, it's like
I understand. Yeah, but like, where can we see that kind of experience? Is it
I think
possible
so. I
nowadays?
think so. I'm assuming it still must be there. In a lot of the smaller towns, I still assume that thoda bahut, it may not be as wild as it was when we were growing up. But I'm assuming some part of it may still be happening because इतने single screens अभी भी है. So single screens में कहीं ना कहीं तो वो होगा ही. That is there. So in fact, I remember some time back, there was a retrospective that was done for Dilip Kumar films, I think, okay, in Bombay some time back, where, the entire atmosphere kind of came alive because they brought back a whole lot of remastered films for people to see in a theater. And you could feel the energy there. That I think that fun of feeling the energy, because cinema is such a shared experience at a lot of times, and that sets up your involvement with the movie afterwards.
True. Yeah, Hiren, you have raised your hand. Hi, Hiren, how are
Hey,
you?
Hiren,
Hi, Shruti. Hi, Kalyan. Hi, DJ.
how are you, boss?
I, I am good. I'm not boss. So, so you wanted to experience single screen theater? It's in Bandra,
Getty
Getty,
Galaxy,
and
yes. How can I
especially,
forget? Yes.
especially the Salman Khan movies. You go there and you will, still find that happening. I know the movies are not that good, but you will still find the crowd doing the same things that back in the 80s and 90s.
Hey, thanks for reminding me. I mean, yes, Getty Galaxy was one of those places where I've hung out so much in life.
Yes, absolutely. I think every Mumbaiker would have hung out there.
No, I am not a Mumbaiker, but I did as well. And that place have a very different vibe. I totally loved it. And like Hiren, thank you for reminding this to DJ sir and to me. I'm feeling very sad right now because when I the last time I visited Mumbai, I was so excited to watch like something, some any drama or anything, be it whatever we. I'd be able to watch in Prithvi. And sadly, the day when I was there, I went over there. I had the coffee. I eat something. I saw that library, but there was not a single any show was going on. So I was very disappointed that I came at the wrong time. But it's okay. Hopefully next time I might be able to see
In
something
fact,
over there
Shruti, I'm telling you,
and
the
experience.
magic of
Yeah.
cinema probably still there. Okay, Tamil Nadu is heaven. You know, Tamil Nadu is absolute heaven if you want to go back and experience the magic of cinema on ground. It is like it's surreal. It is a different level experience altogether.
तमिलनाडु में कहाँ पे डीजे
कहीं
सर?
भी ओके आई एम सेइंग चेन्नई में भी है सेलम में भी है अदर छोटे शहरों में भी है okay but it is amazing because the like I said the whole fan culture and the fan following that is there and how organized the whole fan space is in Tamil Nadu. It's a different level, both Andhra and Tamil Nadu. I don't know so much about Andhra, but Tamil Nadu I've been lucky to experience it live a lot myself. Go see a Rajnikant film times. Oh man.
I'd be I'd be very happy, more than happy if I get to know if there is any place like where I can get to experience this anyway, anywhere in Coimbatore or near Coimbatore. I'll be traveling Saturday, like
आपको
I'll
ढूंढ के
be
बता
in
दूंगा,
Coimbatore the
टेंशन ना लो,
next
आपको
week.
ढूंढ के बता दूंगा.
Yeah, please, please, thank you so much. Hi, Hiren, you were raising your hand, please. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I think Tamil Nadu, especially Chennai, I think there also I think there are three or four single screen theaters that are just lit. I don't remember the names right now, but I can definitely share it. And I think cinema is something you need to experience in theater. And I think DJ just spoke a while back. The first experience of any movie has to be in theater, and then you carry some movies back to your home and well into deeper into every aspect that you want to get something out of it.
True, true, true. I'll definitely keep it in my mind. And anyway, like अभी भी ऐसा ऐसा ही होता है कि mostly मैं movies पहले theaters में देखती हूँ. मतलब because the movies I watch are those which I'm interested in. So I would choose to like watch it in theater first. Again, it is not a very comfortable experience, but yeah, I just love watching it on big screen.
हम तो
एंड
अगले
आई वुड लाइक रिक्वेस्ट यू प्लीज आप मेरे को डीएम कर देना आप जो बता रहे हो प्लेसेस का हाँ जी टीजी सर आप कुछ बोल
आपसे
रहे
तो डीएम करेंगे. आई एम सेइंग हम तो इतने बेशरम है ना, हम तो अकेले जाके मूवी देख लेंगे.
थे
Absolutely. I have no company, so I only watch alone.
नहीं मतलब दैट इज अ गुड थिंग इसमें गलत तो नहीं है कुछ भी मतलब मूवी आई डोंट लिव विद एनीबॉडी इधर सो anyway I have been watching movies alone since like my college days only. At least you guys have like families with you, right?
Yeah. Well, again, I guess but now both my girls are very clear. Okay, for a lot of films, they decide
हाँ.
whether I can go with them. The decision is in their hands, so they're very clear when they
Hmm.
go out and watch these Marvel movies and the rest of it. They will go see it the first time, on their own, and then they'll come back and say, okay, आप चलो फिर वापस देखने के लिए. So the one film
Yeah,
that is
so
like a special family moment for us and a great memory for us is I pushed both my girls to come and watch Everything Everywhere All at Once, and subsequently it went on to really do well at the Oscars. What a film! What a film! So
wow.
it's
Yeah, I mean that is my last question to you, DJ said that how is it possible that your entire family love movies? Like we all love movies, but your love for movies in your family is like definitely to the next level. Like your daughters love movies so much, probably more than you do as per the conversation we had last time. How did this happen?
uh, to be very honest with you, I think movies is always like this bonding opportunity, and between both the girls because they ask a lot of questions. That is there. Films becomes like this very convenient reference point through which to ask questions. Also, to be able to structure your thoughts, to be able to bring it forward, that kind of thing. So, with Sasha, that has always happened. I think Sanya also kind of started to join in, and because both of them were just about growing up and in their teens when the lockdown happened, like I said, I think we did this very interesting stuff where every day we were all stuck in one flat for over a little over 3 months between all of us. So set up this thing of sitting and watching a film every day at 9 o'clock, like a movie show, and each one would get to kind of pick a film and put it out there and get the rest of the family to watch it also. So in the process, you can imagine, so over a 3 month period we all sat and watched some 100 films together. And then during the day, because you are all in the house and nothing else to do, you would sit down to break that film down, discuss it, argue about it at times, which led to we starting to do these movie breakdown sessions on Sundays, where we started to get in other people also, and 30, 40 of us would kind of get onto a call, and we would just sit down and discuss films after that. So I think that just kind of brought us all together. So as a family, we agree on movies, we argue about movies. In fact, one of Swati's favorite dialogues, okay, is किस गधे ने तुम्हें बाप बनाया.
That is hilarious, sir. And yeah. And it's amazing, yeah, that कि आप अपनी family के साथ मतलब you all share the same kind of passion towards movie, and that's rare and amazing, to be honest. That's great. That's
I
really
think it's
great.
a collective love for the whole storytelling piece. Like I said, I'm being a marketer. It was always an interest to me. Being a therapist, okay, the whole, you know, human behavior, mental space, that is so close to, that's part of what Swati does any which way. So I think it kind of, comes together really well because of that. And like the girls say, they enjoy it putting both of us together on these group sessions because there Swati and me will sit and argue about a film. Okay, so it is like this great fun time for them to sit and watch both of us arguing in public, kinds. So
That's great. And I think this was a very successful space. A lot of people asked you so many questions. And if anybody has any other question, they can just come up and they can ask DJ sir. Um, and anything that you would like to add to this, DJ sir?
uh, I think the only thing I would like to add is let's just get together and find the like-minded people. So we build the playground, guys. Now help us really build the games on the playground per se. So basis some of the feedback that we picked up, we've tried to come back and put things together on Frenzy which would interest all of you all. But would love to hear feedback, would love to continue to build the product from here on, and like I said, would love to come back and be part of more sessions where we talk about films, because like I said, it just makes me join dots, and I just love that process in the end. So.
Yes, and if you guys haven't checked out Frenzy, you should because I love the platform. It's an amazing way to find out new kind of movies, and I did get few recommendations from the website as well. So do check that out, and if you like the product, just definitely do tweet about it, tag DJ sir and tag Frenzy as well, and that's how it is. Shruti, you wanna add something to this?
Yeah, definitely. I would like to say thank you, DJ sir, for having joining our space today. And it was lovely having all this conversation with you. I got to learn a lot about movies, and I have also jotted down few names which I would be more than happy to watch. And definitely I'll be coming back to you. I'll be asking you a few questions regarding my learnings, because whenever I'm watching all this stuff, definitely there is something which I do learn and share with others. And if I have some question, I would be more than happy to, like, I'll be happy to ask you, but I hope you won't mind like
Not at
asking
all.
me
I
all
would,
those
I,
questions.
I would love to be a part of any conversation because, again, it helps me so much. Okay, I don't know. This is what energizes me in the end. So, I would love to be part of any conversation that involve films, independent of whether I watched it or not. I ended up picking up and writing about a few films, okay, through the session today that I think I'm going to go back and check out because somewhere in my head, if you remember a film, it means so much to you. There is something out there, and I'm damn curious about what that something is. So,
Definitely amazing. Amazing, amazing. So thank you so much for joining us today. And if anybody have not like taken part in the contest, which is there pinned in the space above our names, as you can see, please do check it out. Do follow Frenzy handle on Twitter. And Frenzy is something which DJ Sir is building right now. So I would be more than happy if you guys will check that out and do share your experience with DJ Sir and the Frenzy team. And yeah, that's it. And do join us in our next space next Thursday or whenever we are having our next space. And thank you, Kalyan. Kalyan, like, shall I close this now?
Yeah, sure, sure, sure. Thank you so much, DJ sir. Thank you,
thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you, Deep sir.
Thank you,
Thank you, everyone, for
everyone,
joining
guys.
us. Thank you, Hiren.
Thank you, Kalyan, Shruti, and DJ.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
Narayan.
DJ, we have our conversations
Yes,
pending.
yes. Great. In fact, listen, thank you, everyone. Thank you for taking your time and kind of joining us out here. Just means a lot to me. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, so on behalf of the whole Frenzy team, thank you very, very much.
Amazing. Bye bye. Good night,
Good
everybody.
night.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Thank you for listening to us. And if you want to participate in live spaces, just follow our Twitter handles. हम ऐसे spaces हर हफ्ते करते हैं. And अगर आपको ये पसंद आया तो follow करना हमको and share this podcast. Thank you so much and see you next week. Bye bye.